Hey, it's Eran here. In this video, I want to talk about purchasing domain names and where to buy from. This is a common question that I receive, and I wanted to record a video to answer this in detail with the different experiences I had and the different companies that I've used and so on, so you can choose one to go with. Now, I can tell you that I have purchased from a number of companies domain names, and the ones that I've personally bought from are GoDaddy, Brixley, Domain.com, Ventrape, which is an Australian company, and also another one called Pork Bun, I think is the name. These are the ones that I've personally purchased from. I have also used different hosting providers, all of those mentioned. I also use SiteGround. And with regards to recommending and other people using it, I have helped other people set up domain names and buying hosting and moving hosting and stuff like that with a number of platforms. Namecheap, HostGators, there's a couple of European ones as well. So there's a whole array of different options out there, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. From my experience, it doesn't matter too much where you buy your domain name. The domain name is really just like the address, and it's where your hosting is that matters more. So if you're going to buy your domain name in, let's say, GoDaddy, I've never really come across having issues per se. Although I'm not a huge fan of using GoDaddy because they have hidden fees and upsells with their hosting. So I typically prefer to stay away from GoDaddy. With regards to where I buy my domain names, so because Ventrape is an Australian company, I buy mine from Ventrape when it came to the .com.au domains, but that is specifically for Australia and New Zealand. So if you're not in Australia and New Zealand, that's not relevant to you. If you are, that's a good company to go with. They've got really good support. If I was to give you a recommendation, if you're in Australia and New Zealand, I would definitely go with Ventrape. It's a Melbourne-based company, and they've got good support and good everything, reasonable pricing, and so on. So go with Ventrape. If you're not in the US, not in Australia, then I have the domain register that I am using is called domain.com, not domains with an S, just domain.com. So that's the one that I use, and it works great. I don't have any issues. I've never really had any issues with them. I do not host with them. Who I host with is Brixley, which is a shared hosting that I do. Like I have a high level hosting because I have a shared plan with family and stuff. So I don't use the typical low priced hosting. But if you were to go with something like domain.com, they do provide hosting as well. And I've never used them, so I can't really say, okay, go with them. That's the perfect place to go. What's more important to understand is the difference between email hosting and website hosting. So with website hosting, if you're using a software like Newsendler or like System.io or like Kajabi, they actually take care of your hosting for you. So you just have to buy a domain name and connect your domain name to System or Zenler or Kajabi. They actually take care of it for you. What they don't do is they don't take care of your email hosting, which means that when you are sending emails from your autoresponder, your email marketing, or your email service provider, you need to have email hosting. For example, instead of sending an email from eranbukai@gmail.com, for me to use an email service provider, whether it's a separate one or it's included with Kajabi or System or Zenler, I have to have an email address that says contact@eranbukai.com or info@eranbukai.com or @eranbukai.com, whatever I want to call that. But the domain name has to be at the end. So it's got to be a custom professional email address. Now, to get that, there is two options. One, get it from your hosting provider when you're buying it. So for example, if you're buying it from domain.com, you would buy a hosting plan, and usually a custom email address is included. Alternatively, you will buy your domain name from, let's say, domain.com, and then you would use Google Workspace to set up your professional email address. If you're going to go with Google Workspace, which is probably the easiest one to set up, then I recommend just go with Google Domains. That way it's all in the one place. You got Google Domains, you got Google Workspace, and everything should talk to each other pretty easy. If you don't want to have everything in the one place, that's okay. You could just buy your domain name from, say, domain.com and use Google Workspace for the email hosting, and then use an external platform like System.io to use for your website hosting and so on. But if you're going to use WordPress, for example, you're going to not go with Google Workspace. You're going to want to buy hosting with a hosting provider. So let me just simplify this to recap. If you're going to use WordPress specifically and you're in Australia, just buy everything from Venturate.com. If you're going to buy hosting and you are using WordPress, then make sure you buy your domain and your hosting from the same place. Whether you use Namecheap or HostGator or Domain.com or Brixley, any one of these will probably be just fine. I've had experience with all of them. They're all, from my experience, and I'm not like super technical on all of that stuff, but I've not had any major issues with any of them. So just go with any one of them, you'd probably be fine. Or SiteGround is the other one as well. If you are going to use an external platform such as System.io or Kajabi or Zenler, which I do recommend for most people to go with, then what I would recommend is buy the domain name either from Domain.com or GoDaddy or Namecheap. Either one of them would be fine. Get Google Workspace as well for your email hosting, and then you'll have the other platform, and then you'll just make all these talk. If you need help with connecting the pieces for all of these, I do have virtual assistants that help do all that stuff as well. And that is something that you can pay for as a one-time fee. The link will be somewhere around this video for you to check out. Or alternatively, if you are in my tech support membership, all of that is included. All these calls with my virtual assistants are included as part of my tech support membership. So you can check it out by visiting eran.link/DCT. So hopefully that gave you some guidance on which one to use. If you want to go and test out also which domain platform to use, and if the name is available, you can go to a website called namechecker.com. I don't think they don't provide domain names. It just gives you an options when you're testing which domain names to buy. When you're searching for the right name, it actually shows you also what social media accounts are available that match that name. So it's kind of handy to know, number one, is the domain name available, but also is the YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and all those handles are also available. It kind of gives you that all in one search. So that's namechecker.com. This is another little good tool that you can use. So that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment for me below or reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. That's about it, and I'll speak to you soon.